Welcome back to The Power Behind the Beauty. I'm your host, Shannon Williams, and this is a space where we can talk about what truly creates unforgettable experiences. Because beauty is not only what we see, it's also about what we feel, how we're treated, and how people carry themselves within a space. And that's why today's episode is such an important one. I'm joined by Cheryl, an etiquette instructor, and we're having a conversation about why elegance is more than decor, it's behavior. We're talking about grace, confidence, respect, presence, and why etiquette still matters in today's world. Cheryl, welcome to The Power Behind the Beauty.
Thank you for having me, Shannon.
I'm so glad you're here. Let's start at the beginning. Let's tell everyone a little bit about who you are and what led you into teaching etiquette.
Well, I am Cheryl Willis, owner of Cheryl's Courtesy Academy, where we serve both youth as well as adults. We assist with leadership, communication, as well as dining etiquette so that youth and adults can enter any space without any difficulty. I started this academy in 2023. And it was birthed out of my work as a speech language pathologist, also serving youth as well as adults. I found that I was teaching manners generally anyway to my clients, particularly those on the spectrum as well as adults who have traumatic brain injury.
Wow. Okay. Wow, I love that. A lot of people hear the word etiquette and immediately think of outdated rules or being overly formal. How would you define etiquette in a modern way?
I love that question. Etiquette in a modern way is the practice of showing respect, awareness, and consideration for yourself as well as others in every setting. It is less about rules and more about how you make people feel through your actions, your words, your presence, and even digital spaces. We have to be mindful of that. Today, etiquette means knowing how to communicate with confidence, honor boundaries, which is particularly important, be culturally aware, and move through spaces with grace, whether in person, online, at work, or in other social settings. So simply put, modern etiquette is a timeless respect applied to today's world.
That's such an important destination. So, in your opinion, why does etiquette still matter today?
Etiquette still matters today because we still need to be respectful of everyone. Again, like I stated, it's not more about the rules, it's about respect. Respect it's mutual. It should be mutual. So we have to honor people in that way.
Right. I agree. I totally agree. And I think people underestimate how much behavior shapes an experience. We often focus on how something looks, but how people move within a room matters just as much. What are some common etiquette mistakes you see at events or gatherings?
That is also a great question. The main thing that I see is ignoring RSVPs. RSVP is a French word that means please respond, and often people do not do that. They don't realize that it affects seating, meal planning, and those types of things. Also, arriving late is another common mistake. Overdressing or underdressing depending on the event. Overusing phones and not being in the moment. People feel that because you're in a public space that they have the right to take photos or videos of anything and people in their presence. But you have to be particularly mindful of when there are children in those spaces. You should not be photographing or videoing children if you have not been given that permission. Also, forgetting the event is about honoring the host and the couple. It is not about you. It's honoring the host or the couple.
Now that one needed to be said. I agree with that wholeheartedly because people, they come in events and they'll go live at the event and did not ask permission or anything. So, and I've seen that, and people will have signs up. Like, that is why we have the photographer and the videographer, let them do their job. And people will still pull a phone out and still proceed to record. So I can
Absolutely.
agree with that wholeheartedly. Let's talk about weddings and formal events for a moment. What are some things guests should always keep in mind when attending someone else's special event?
That's one of my favorite topics. People need to understand that someone else's special day is not their stage. It is your opportunity to add joy and not distraction.
Amen.
So when you attend someone's wedding, celebration, banquet, or formal event, remember that you are entering a moment they planned with care. You should first honor the host's vision, respect the dress code, arrive on time, follow the schedule, and understand that every detail was chosen for a reason. It's not you don't need to know what the reason, but the host knows what their vision and their reason is. So just be respectful of that. Second, you need to arrive with gratitude, being positive, bring positive energy, speak kindly, and remember that your attitude contributes to the atmosphere of that room. Third, be memorable for the right reasons. Avoid gossip, complaints, excessive phone use, or anything that pulls attention away from the guests of honor. The best guests do not compete with the celebration, they contribute to it with grace, gratitude, and class.
That's powerful because at the end of the day, guests are entering someone else's meaningful moment. Respect should lead the experience. So let's talk about the RSVP etiquette because that one comes up often. Why? Why is responding properly so important?
Well, RSVPs help the host plan for seating, meals, budget, and the overall guest experience. A response shows courtesy and consideration to that fact.
Yes, people don't realize planning depends on numbers, timing, seating, catering, everything. Now, in today's world, social media is a part of everything. What etiquette should people remember before posting videos or photos from someone else's events?
Just because you can record the moment does not mean that moment belongs to you. When attending someone else's special event, you should remember that it is their celebration. It is personal, meaningful, and often carefully curated. Before posting or videoing, lead with respect. You should ask before you post because not everyone wants their private moments shared online. Always consider the host's preferences before uploading photos or videos. Remember to not spend the entire event behind your phone screen just to capture some content. Enjoy the experience in real time. The best etiquette reminder is to honor the memory more than the momentary post.
That is so relevant right now. It really is. I also think etiquette and confidence are connected. When someone knows how to enter a room, greet others, communicate well, and carry themselves appropriately, it changes how they feel. So, how does etiquette build confidence?
Shanna, you're correct when you say that etiquette and confidence are related. They truly are. When you know how to carry yourself, communicate well, and handle situations gracefully, you naturally feel more confident.
I love that perspective. Confidence is often quiet, it's preparation, awareness, and presence. What do you think younger generations should understand about etiquette that may be getting lost today?
I feel like the younger generation needs to understand that your presence speaks before you do. It takes 7 seconds for someone to form an opinion about you, whether they're looking at your posture, your body language, your eye contact. All those things speak before you even say a word. They also need to understand that grace is how you treat people, especially when no one is watching.
That's valuable because etiquette isn't about pretending to be something you're not. It's about consideration of wellness and self respect. Before we close, I like to do a quick rapid fire round where I'll ask you a few questions. So the first one is one etiquette rule everyone should know.
Treat every person with respect, regardless of their title, status, or what they can do for you.
Okay. One thing guests should never do at an event.
One thing that guests should never do at an event is never make someone else's celebration about themselves through attention-seeking behavior, complaints, or disrespect.
I agree. I agree totally. What does elegance mean to you?
Elegance is how you carry yourself with grace, confidence, kindness, and that quiet strength. It is not just how you look, but how you make others feel.
Okay, what is one word you want people to remember when they think of etiquette?
One word that I want people to remember when they think about etiquette is simply respect.
I can agree with that wholeheartedly. Cheryl, it's been such a meaningful conversation. I think today's biggest takeaway is that elegance is not only found in beautiful spaces, it's also found in how we treat people, how we show respect, and how we carry ourselves. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Shanna, I'd like to thank you for allowing me this opportunity to be in this space. I would like to leave some final words that Cheryl's Courtesy Academy is more than etiquette. It is a movement rooted in confidence, character, and class. We believe polished presence and kindness still matter, and that every person deserves to walk into any room feeling prepared, poised, and powerful. We are shaping lives, opening doors, and reminding the world that courtesy never goes out of style.
Amen to that. And let's tell everybody where you're located.
I am located at 823 Broad Street in Augusta, Georgia.
Okay. Alrighty. And thank you guys for listening to The Power Behind the Beauty. And remember, beauty isn't accidental. It is built with intention.